200 laps at the world's fastest half mile. It's time for round 2 of the Thursday Night Thunder Series from iRacing's Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm Rick James, here to bring you every single circuit of action. Daniel Roberts and Cody Pennell starting on the front row with Seth Wansing and Sam Roberts in row number 2. Then you've got Mr. Jason Alexander to the outside of Dustin Painter. Donald Ray starting on the outside there. Jeremy Brio has Tommy Withers to his outside in that excellent number 6 Kellogg's Chevy. Speaking of a little bit of Hendrick nostalgia, Richie Catania in the number 2-4 DuPont Flame car. Then you've got Tom Sears and Briley Wright side by side. Cody Riggs with a little bit of Dale Earnhardt love to the inside of Josh Garrison in another one of those beautiful Kellogg's cars. But it's time to go racing. Cody Riggs on the inside of Dan Roberts. 200 laps of action from iRacing's virtual Bristol. The pace car peels off. The green flag is out. Let's go racing! First lap, everybody makes it through okay. Cody Pennell leading in that number 2-8 Haviland. Well, I was going to say Ford, but it really is all of these cars are Impalas, but Cody with that excellent Ford Thunderbird paint scheme. He's got Daniel Roberts right behind him in that 3-0, but right ahead of him, Tristan Catania in the 4-8 car already well in trouble. Ivo Prizzi says, don't forget Riggs for Kentucky. We definitely won't. Tristan Catania, though, with a terrible start from the green flag. Caution is out 4 laps in. Let's see what happened to the 4-8 car right from the green flag. He's entered pit lane already. Let's see what happens here. Let's keep our eye on Tristan Catania. Well, this is already well into the race, so I'm trying to see who we missed or what happened. Possibly Daniel Maddox fell off. Let's take a look at the 10 car here. That white Monster Energy car with the Chevy Camaro decals on the front and back. No issues that I can see for Dan Maddox in the 1-0, so the caution comes out. Let's take a look. Tristan Catania trying to catch back up. Dan Maddox in the pits, so something occurred to that 10 car. Briley Wright, we're hearing, also involved the number 18 NOS Camry. Looks to be okay from the left-hand side. Last week's winner, Thomas Andrews, rocking the number 2 Miller Impala this week. From the High Life to the MGD colors, rocking that Miller Ford Taurus, sitting in the 17th position. Winning last week, obviously he'll come into today's race with the points lead. He's got a 5-digit advantage over Dustin Painter. Painter rocking the 00 right now, rolling in the 4th position. He'll be lining up on the outside of that second row. He'll have Sam Roberts to his inside. If you've just recently tuned in, thank you so much for coming into this second round of Thursday Night Thunder. Cody Pennell sits to the inside of Sam Roberts. We're about to restart on this 7th lap of action. Well, looks like the lights are still on atop the pace car, so we're going to get one more lap in. We'll see what these lights do. And we'll leave Cody alone if they do come off at this start-finish line. Nope, still on. All right, so we're trying to figure something out at the back of the field. Let's bother Cody Pennell real quick and see how he's enjoying his race. Cody Pennell, Rick James up top. You got me, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, Rick.
Hey, Cody, you're doing a great job so far. You've led every single lap, despite most of them being under yellow. We had a decent 1.5 hours of practice. What did you learn for this race tonight?
These cars are extremely on edge under the first few laps on fresh tires, so the important thing is to just take it easy to get some heat in the tires and just kind of play low until, you know, the tires come in.
Who's going to be your biggest challenge tonight, Cody? You got 1 to green, and you got to get ready to race.
I'm looking at these Roberts boys behind me. They're getting feisty, so we'll see how it goes.
Keep the shiny side up, buddy. Best of luck.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Cody Pennell in that number 2-8, lining ahead of Daniel Roberts in the 3-0, going single file. If this is your first time tuning into Thursday Night Thunder, they are kicking it just a little bit old school this year. Gen 4 cars, Gen 4 rules, single file restarts, lap cars to the inside. We're going to restart. 9 laps will be complete. 10 will be underway of the scheduled 200. Cody Pennell leading Daniel Roberts and Sam Roberts in third. Green flag is out. Let's do it again. Seven car off track to the inside. That's Tommy Reynolds, who's gone off the racing surface. Cody Pennell still leading in the 2-8. He's got Dan Roberts behind him. Sam Roberts sitting in third. North Carolina's Dustin Painter in that 00 Buckshot Jones Pontiac Grand Prix. In that 4th spot, Jeremy Brio rounding out the top 5. Cody Riggs has gone around the number 3 Good Wrench Service Chevrolet. The reverse Dale Earnhardt colors looking great, if I might add. The Greensburg native up along the wall and the right front tire motionless. He has got some serious damage on the inside of that Good Wrench Chevrolet. Moldy Muskrat says almost made it 10 laps without a caution. Insane Skills 22 in the chat earlier said, let's see how Briley does for the Kentucky boys. Briley's doing fine, but this Kentucky boy really in some trouble. Let's see what happened to Greensburg's Cody Riggs. Oh, he's already got damage. He's already messed up there. And that's where he lost control up along the wall. Dan Maddox getting into that 3 car. Let's go back to the green flag and see where Cody Riggs picked up this scratch. From the restart now. Oh, the 7 of Tommy Reynolds well to his back bumper. Oh, contact with the 7 of Tommy Reynolds, who was right behind him. And that's where Cody Riggs got his damage there. Let's ride along with Tommy Reynolds. Have a listen here. You're riding along with Tommy Reynolds in the 7 car. That's Cody Riggs who's going to get the damage up ahead. Reynolds trying for the pass on the high side. Riggs trying to block. Really tough to call, but Cody Riggs still riding around wounded in that 3 car. He'll be looking for some ailments to his wounds. Cody Pennell in that 2nd spot with Daniel Roberts in 3rd in that 3-0. Sam Roberts, position number 3 in the 1-5. Dustin Painter 4th. Jeremy Brio is 5th. Let's go back to Thomas Andrews, the number 2 car. He's last week's winner, and he'll be trying to get 2 wins in a row. Let's see if we can bother Thomas Andrews for a word or two. Tommy, Rick James up top. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Tommy, you're setting mid-pack right now, but it's still a long race. Straight away, we're seeing that patience is being just a little bit of an issue here. Is your strategy just survive? Because it looks like it's going to be a tough challenge today.
Yeah, I kind of put us in a hole here with my qualifying effort. So for right now, I'm just kind of trying to pick them off one at a time, not push the envelope. Just try to capitalize on other guys' mistakes and pick them off one by one, and hopefully by the end of the race, they'll be up towards the front.
Cody Pennell earlier said that those Roberts boys are going to be a tough challenge to get around. We had a long 1.5 hours of practice today, Tommy. Where do you think is going to be some of the challenges in this racetrack? Who's the toughest driver?
Cody's really strong. He's strong everywhere. When he shows up, he's always the guy to beat. Jeremy too. Seth had a really good run last week, so wouldn't be surprised to see them 3 up there at the end of this race.
Getting ready to go green, Tommy. Best of luck, pal. We'll be cheering you on.
Thanks, buddy.
Thomas Andrews trying to make it 2 wins in a row, something I believe he's never achieved in Thursday Night Thunder. Cody Pennell starting on the outside of Cody Riggs, 1 lap down. Let's go for our second restart of this race. Car 28 on the point. Green flag is out. Seth Wansing in that number 9 Rainbow Warriors Chevrolet, the Kansas City masterpiece behind the 7-4 of Jeremy Brio. Wansing looking to crack that top 5, had a stellar race last week at Rockingham, leading an amazing number of laps, setting blistering fast times, only for the internet to cut out and let him down at the last minute. Wansing still wrestling back a top 15 this week, looking to do better, looking to bring those famous Rainbow Warrior colors to a familiar place. Jason Alexander getting loose behind both of these drivers. The Salem, South Carolinian in that 7th position, trying to do just a bit better than he finished last week. The 00, Dustin Painter. The North Carolinian rocking those aqua fresh colors. He's sitting right comfortably in that 14th spot. And behind him, Seth Wansing now challenging Jeremy Brio. He's to the inside, car number 9 to the inside of car 74. This is the battle for the 4th spot. Cody Pennell going purple, 15.04 seconds. Thomas Andrews saying he's one of the toughest drivers out here, and he's showing it early on. A half-second gap is what he's enjoying between himself in 1st and Daniel Roberts in the 2nd position. Closer fight sits with Josh Garrison in that number 44 Cornflakes Chevrolet. He's to the inside of Season 1 and Season 3 champion Tom Sears. The number 14 Toyota Supra on the high side behind one of the other Kentucky boys we were talking about earlier, Riley Wright, the 1.8 Toyota Camry, making his debut here in round 2 of Thursday Night Thunder. He's sitting on the back end of the top 10. Seth Wansing, this time he's making it stick, but he just can't quite stay permanent to the inside of the 7.4 Taco Bell Chevrolet of Jeremy Brio. One of the John Smeal Designs specials. And I say Chevrolet, but check this out. And I'm loving this. This is what I love about the creativity about these Gen 4 ARCA cars. It says Chevrolet on the hood, but it clearly, well, it's got the Chevrolet bow tie, but it clearly says Dodge, and those are definitely Dodge Intrepid headlights and tail lights on the back end of this car. What a creative piece of work. Brio right now sitting on the outside of the battle for 5th place. Dustin Painter up ahead in that 00, slowly being swallowed up by these two. But will the Rainbow 9 of Seth Wansing be able to use the 00 as a pick to get by them both? Brio well loose out of turn number 4. You saw the tail hang out at the front, however. Cody Riggs still with a half-second gap. Daniel Roberts now 1 second ahead of his brother Sam. And there is that battle for 4th. Let's ride along with Seth Wansing. He's on the tail end of this 3-way for the top 5 spot. And there's the cavalry behind him. You think this is a gaggle of cars? To quote my good buddy Repeat 1975, it is a hornet's nest. Further on behind these drivers, you've got drivers like Rich Catania, who seem to be, for the most part, unbothered. Looking up just one corner, you've got Jason Alexander, followed by a two-way fight. The 18 of Riley Wright, once again, now trying to get around the South Carolinian they call Jaco. Donald Ray from Rockwall, Texas, in the number 5 CarQuest Chevy. He's got Sears right up his back trumpet, almost 3 wide, and there it is, contact between the 5 and the 18. The 53 of Jason Alexander wisely backs out of the throttle and survives to fight another lap. Heads up to Alexander, a really clutch play. He could have avoided, or he did avoid, I should say, a really big accident. Further up ahead, you're looking at Thomas Andrews sandwiched between the two Cornflakes cars. The 44 of Josh Garrison behind the number 2 Miller Ford. That Miller Ford making moves, trying to get to the inside of Virginia's Thomas Withers. Andrews making a great effort, but caution number 3 flies over the Speedway. John Honeybrink has had an incident in his number 20 Home Depot Chevrolet. And it goes just a bit lopsided now for Honeybrink. Let's have a look and see what happened to the Home Depot Pontiac. Contact from the 4 of Terry Gabbard. 2 races, 2 crashes for car number 4. And there he goes spinning out of turn number 2, but he saves it with his internet doing a bit of a shuffle. Honeybrink gets the worst of it. Let's go back just a bit and see this battle between Terry Gabbard and John Honeybrink. It just looks like Gabbard just made some contact off of turn number 4. Let's run this one back right along with the Ohio native. Have a listen and see those hands. Let's see what's up. Here's the contact. You can see the steering wheel always turning to the right. And while Gabbard survived, Honeybrink got the worst of it. One more look on board the 20 car. Bama Trama subscribing with Prime. Mama Vols in the house with a subscription. Thank you so much, Mama. I love you. Send my love on down to the family in Tennessee. John Honeybrink, not much love for the 4 of Terry Gabbard. Now coming down pit road. Caution comes out for the 3rd time tonight. Dustin Painter now being scored as our race leader. A lot of drivers took the opportunity to pit. The top 9 cars did not come down pit road, so Dustin Painter, the North Carolinian, now sits on the point. Thank you again, Bama Trama, aka Mama Vols, for subscribing, and she subscribed with Prime, and you can do it too. As long as you use your Amazon Prime account, combine that with your Twitch, get 1 free subscription every single month. Why not make that Rick James TV? Make the smart decision, combine your Prime and your Twitch, get what's known as Prime Gaming. You get loot for your games every single month, whether it's Fortnite, whether it's PUBG. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 you still get loot for whenever they do those special events. You get free games every single month. Of course, you've got Amazon Prime to go with it too. And Osiris Mad Duck subscribes with Prime as well. Thank you, Mad Duck. Appreciate you, buddy. Send my love out to those with you. And I think that's Daniel Maddox. So all my love to DM there. Still in pit road getting those repairs. But the Virginian fights on like no other, so we expect to see him back on the racetrack real soon. So Dustin Painter is at the front with Thomas Andrews behind him in that number 2 car. The lights turn off atop our iRacing pace car. 43 laps about to be complete. 44 will be underway of the scheduled 200. 107 miles on this 60-year-old half-mile circuit. What a brilliant racetrack. And yes, they did host 3 football games, 1 professional game between, I believe it was Washington and Philadelphia, and then, of course, those 2 college football games they had in 2016, one between Virginia Tech and Tennessee, which was a charm to watch. Pace car peels off. Dustin Painter at the point. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. 45 laps underway now. Donald Ray in the number 5 behind the 4-4 of Josh Garrison. Garrison up 13 places from where he started. Thomas Andrews up 15 places from where he started. That's Kentucky's Cody Riggs in the 20th position right now, a couple of laps down, trying to fight for his lap back. Garrison says, I'm trying to stay in 3rd. Donald Ray pushing the issue. Briley Wright goes around, but he saves it. Glove save from one of those Kentucky boys, but now they're stacked up 4 wide down the front straight. Wright still trying to get his speed about himself. Withers stuck behind the 18 NOS Camry. Gabbard now to the outside, and there's the other Cornflakes car. Josh Garrison into the wall, grinding that gorgeous paint scheme along that black Bristol barrier. He's going to have to bring it down pit road. We stay green with Dustin Painter at the front. Last week's winner, Thomas Andrews, to the inside, trying to get some sort of advantage on that 00 Pontiac. 49 laps now underway. Donald Ray makes it into 3rd. Let's go back and see what happened to the 44 of Roberts. See if we can run this one back. And I'm sorry, I said Roberts. That was Josh Garrison in the 44. Here he is to the inside of Cody Riggs. Riggs in the wall, trying to save it, and he just can't. Right into Garrison, not Roberts, and that's where the damage comes from. The exact same incident that occurred between the 4 of Terry Gabbard and the 2-0 of John Honeybrink. Cody Pennell now in the 2nd position with those fresh tires, and the top 5 is being infiltrated with drivers that have fresh Goodyear rubber. Dan Roberts on the inside in that 3-0 Valvoline Chevrolet. It says Ford on the hood. What decals does he have on that thing? The back end is Ford Taurus decals, or are they Fusion decals? No, that says Ford Fusion. Okay, well, Sam Roberts driving that Frankenstein Fusion in the 4th position. He last pitted on lap 40. Donald Ray in the 5, Cody Pennell in the 2-8, all on fresh tires. Thomas Andrews did not pit, and this is the same gimmick that the Stanford driver pulled last week, saving one of these sets of tires for the end, and look how it's paying off now. Andrews leading this race, but Pennell quickly approaching in the 2-8. Let's ride along with Cody Pennell. He's going to try Thomas Andrews for the lead. Cody Pennell to the point, new leader in the number 2-8 Haviland Thunderbird. Here comes Dan Roberts with fresh tires once again. Well, they're 17 laps old, but compared to 58 laps old, Thomas Andrews now suffering, but of the drivers that did not pit, he's doing exceedingly well. The next best is Rockwall's Donald Ray in that 5 car. He's being overtaken by Tommy Withers. This is for the 8th position. The next driver who didn't pit, Rich Catania, sitting in 10th right now, the Orlando native, driving the number 24 DuPont Chevrolet. No secret that I'm a big fan of Jeff Gordon, so both Richie and Seth Wansing really holding just a little piece of great nostalgia. Those rainbow colors went to victory lane so many times here at Bristol. The KC masterpiece to the inside of Thomas Andrews. Wansing trying to breach the top 5 and doing so successfully. Tommy Reynolds in the number 7 Aramark Chevy trying to make his way up, and another Thomas. You've got 3 Toms sitting 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. Hats off to Tristan Catania in the number 48 Black Aces Chevy. He's sitting 10th right now. Started from the pit lane, but working his way up through the field. Terry Gabbard last pitted on lap 40. He's now trying to get around John Honeybrink. This is for the 16th position. And the freaky fast Ford Fusion gets around the Home Depot Pontiac. Terry Gabbard in 16th, some 27 seconds behind Ryan Pennell in the Hooters Ford. with a little bit of Arcs love on that tailgate. Shout out Alliance Racing Championship Series. There's Pennell getting a little bit of a bump from his good buddy Tom Sears. A little bit of get out of the way. Pennell trying his hardest. Seth Wansing now on his outside. The Knoxville, Tennessee native, a big fan of Formula One growing up as a kid, but it only took him one race at Bristol, Tennessee to get hooked on NASCAR, and the rest is history. Funny enough, it was the 1999 Goody's Headache Powder 500, and I don't have to explain that race. Dale rattled his cage all right to that victory, much to the shower of booze and mean looks from fans in the stands. But what a historical race, and that's a story for another night. The story right now is Cody Pennell running away with this lead. He's got a half-second advantage on Dan Roberts in the 3-0. Talk about a couple of classic paint schemes. The Valvoline Ford, made famous by a lot of drivers. People might attribute this to Mark Martin, but that paint scheme right there has actually been driven by a couple, two or three legends. And speaking of legends, what a nice paint scheme. Cody Pennell in that 2.8 Haviland Ford Thunderbird, bringing back a little bit of historic nostalgia. Seth Wansing as well in the Rainbow number 9 to the inside of Season 3 champion Tom Sears. Sears, who did pit on lap 40, struggling to get those tires under control. Being overtaken by Tommy Withers. Sears rocking in the 6th position right now. Thomas Andrews with the nostalgia bug. He's on the outside of Jason Alexander in that lovely Coors paint scheme. Andrews driving the paint scheme from another driver who won here a lot. Shout out Rusty Wallace fans. Rich Catania in the number 2 Ford DuPont Chevrolet. We saw this one earlier tonight. He's about to be put a lap down by race leader Cody Pennell. This leaves 9 cars on the lead lap, and Pennell really showing that tires matter most. Pennell all the way down to 7th place. Tommy Withers, all our drivers that pitted under that last caution, and they got tires, and it's paying off in dividends. Drivers with only 4 additional sets in tonight's race. They'll be able to go between 55 and 65 laps on one set, but possibly even further, as we saw Thomas Andrews really pulling that envelope, pushing that envelope, I should say. 75 laps now underway from the world's fastest half mile. Tommy Reynolds in that 7 car, now behind the 2-4 of Richie Catania to his inside. Reynolds has been trying to get around Seth Wansing for the longest time, and he's getting closer over the last few laps. This is what those times have looked like, almost consistent now that the 7 car's on the back end of Wansing. And over the last 5 laps, there you can see Wansing has been quicker, not by more than a tenth, however. Let's ride along with Tommy Reynolds. He's chasing down Kansas City native Seth Wansing for the 4th position. Reynolds up 14 places from where we started 80 laps ago. Reynolds, the hardest charger of the race so far. Now Jason Alexander to his inside. The South Carolinian sitting in the 19th spot, some 5 laps down, still with a lot of fight in him, and that's what we love to see. Almost going 3 wide. That's Terry Gabbard up ahead in that 4 car. Now on the high side, and there they are 3 wide. Wansing having to back out of it. Alexander with a little bit of a blink. Hopefully his internet stays stable. And that's Cody Riggs now coming down pit road. He's going to get fresh tires and fuel. It's a different Cody at the top, though. Cody Pennell in the number 2.8 Haviland Thunderbird, leading this race by 6/10. He's looking to put Thomas Andrews a lap down. He's in the 9th position. Dustin Painter in the 13th spot. He's going to go 1 lap down as well. 2 laps down, pardon me. Andrews will go 1 lap down. And this right here is just speaking to the immense improvement you can get from fresh Goodyears. This was the gamble, and it paid off for all of the top 7. Tommy Withers sitting 9 seconds off of the leader right now, still doing a great sight better. But Donald Ray now chasing him down. Ray's been getting closer. It's 6/10 between them. Tommy Reynolds now 3/10 behind the 9 of Seth Wansing. Everybody getting close and starting to get a bit itchy with the leaders turning in such fast laps. Donald Ray, though, running right out of space, and he's caught Tommy Withers. As the adage goes, it's one thing to catch him, and it's another thing to pass him. But Ray looking to make quick and light work of Withers. Can he make it stick up that inside line? Withers really using that high side, and he's watching Ray get closer and closer to his 7th spot. Withers tags the wall, and there goes Donald Ray. Rockwall, Texas, Donald Ray to you. He climbs 1 more position into the top 7. Wansing on the outside, still trying to hold off Tommy Reynolds and doing a fantastic job. This time Reynolds with a great run off the top of the corner. Seth Wansing side by side, but he makes it stick that time. The 2-time above average A-squared champion still maintains that 4th position. Jeremy Brio now getting around Daniel Roberts, and he is on the move over the last 5 laps. Jeremy Brio has been slower than Pinnell, but he has been trying to get around traffic. You saw on lap 88, he was quicker by 0.2 of a second. This time unimpeded on lap 90, Jeremy Brio slower than Pinnell by 0.2. 1.9 seconds is the gap. Is Pinnell being held up by Jason Alexander in that 5.3? That last time around, Pinnell not as quick. He is indeed being slowed down by the lap traffic. Jeremy Brio starting to reel him in, or at least impede his progress. The number 28 Haviland Thunderbird with a 2-second gap, just a few laps before pit stops. Donald Ray, who did not pit under that last caution, now the highest ranked of the drivers who haven't pitted. He sits in 7th on that lead lap. Tommy Withers, the next car, he did pit on lap 40 with the leaders, and Cody Pinnell does come in. There's the leader right there, so green flag pit stops are underway starting from the top, and the floodgates will now open. Fans, on the bottom of your screen, you're going to see your driver's last name with the 3-letter abbreviation. The ticking time is total pit lane time. The time in the brackets is their total pit stop time. New leader, Jeremy Brio, now new leader becomes Seth Wansing. He did pit on lap 40. He is stretching these tires now just before the halfway mark. Tom Sears takes over the 2nd spot. Tommy Withers sitting in 3rd. Withers just on the brink of going a lap down, now gets just a little bit of breathing space. Thomas Andrews, who did not pit, gets his lap back. He's sitting in the 4th position. When will Andrews come down? His tires are 97 laps old. He's now on the tail end of that lead lap. There's your race leader, Seth Wansing, to the inside, trying to put Andrews a lap down. But if Andrews can survive and hold off Wansing until the 9 car comes down pit road, that will put Andrews in a really advantageous position. Cody Pinnell, the first of the leaders to come down pit road. He's sitting in the 6th position now, some 3 laps off of Seth Wansing. But everybody watching car number 9, wondering when he'll come down pit road. Wansing just a little slow up the inside, but still trying to be quicker than Andrews. And And there's a wreck behind him there. Seth Watson gets around Thomas Andrews, but there's a wreck behind all of these drivers. Ryan Pennell got a piece of it, but we stay green. Seth Watson still leading this race. 101 laps underway. We've passed the halfway mark, and we keep it pushing. Thomas Andrews goes a lap down. The race leader, Seth Watson, gets around the driver of the 2 car. Still the best driver of all of those who have not pitted. Tommy Withers is in. Driver of the number 6 Cornflakes Chevrolet decides to come down pit road. Tom Sears has not pitted. He's 1 second behind race leader Seth Watson. We stay green despite that shuffle behind the drivers. Let's see if we can take a look what happened. There's Pennell behind race leader Seth Watson. Oh, was it netcode? What caused Pennell to just shoot up the racetrack like that? Let's have a look. Well, a closer look at least. I don't know if that's netcode. I don't know if the 12 just sent it in too deep. Tommy Reynolds goes purple, 15.02 seconds. Fastest lap of the race on lap 104. Race leader, now Tom Sears in the number 14. Massachusetts native, putting Seth Watson a lap down. Sears has the entire field at least 1 lap down. He did pit on lap 40 under that most recent caution. Thomas Andrews didn't. You're reading that right. His tires 106 laps old, currently in the 2nd position, and that could have been his break, but now he's gambling on another yellow, and the 2 cars coming down. He finally does succumb to those old tires, as does Tom Sears. Race leader is in. Cody Pennell now getting his laps back. He's now 1 lap behind Tom Sears, and he's got a 3.5 second advantage to Jeremy Brio in the 7-4 car. Cody Pennell just being brilliant on his pit lane time. Cody Pennell spending 1.5 seconds less than Jeremy Brio on pit lane, 2 seconds less than Jeremy Brio in his pit stop, and now Cody Pennell is the new leader once again on lap 108. Jeremy Brio 3.8 seconds behind in the 2nd position, and 4 seconds behind Brio is Dan Roberts in 3rd. That cycle shook up everything. Seth Watson rejoining. It looks like 1 lap down in the 6th spot. Thomas Andrews now exiting pit road in 11th. That's going to do it for our pit stop cycle. Back to your regularly scheduled graphics. That's what I get for trying to be funny. Cody Pennell leading by 4.20 seconds as he crosses the line. 111 circuits underway. We're inside the final 90 of our scheduled 200. And if you've just recently joined us, I'm Rick James. You're watching the 2nd round of Thursday Night Thunder from iRacing's Bristol Motor Speedway. Cody Pennell also making his debut, not on this point sheet, and there's a wreck in front of them. Pennell avoids him, but he's gotten involved. Cody Riggs, and that's the 44 of Josh Garrison that also got a piece right after those pit stop cycles went through. Josh Garrison involved in his 2nd caution tonight. The Ohio pilot not having a lucky evening. And those cornflakes starting to taste a bit stale on that 44. So caution number 4 comes out. Patrick Allen got a piece of this also. Let's see what happened. Patrick Allen in the number 1 Tracker Boats Chevy. Just losing it off of turn number 1. And that has nothing to do with what happened with Josh Garrison. Let's have a look here. Oh, he just got loose. Garrison just got loose. Gets into the wall. And nowhere for Cody Riggs to go. Right there. And Cody Pennell, the race leader, got a piece of that too. Let's have a look. One more look with Josh Garrison. Oh, you know what? Just a full send. Have another look. Garrison really trying to send it in there. He catches the apron, and you can see the moment right there. That he catches the apron, and he does his very best to save it. Here comes Cody Riggs, and by the time he realizes it, it's just a bit too late. And there's race leader Cody Pennell. He got a piece of that accident as well, and the 2-8 Haviland Ford, who's been dominating this race, possibly in some serious trouble. Jason Alexander just barely avoiding that one. Donald Ray getting around that one as well. Look at Tristan Catania avoiding this one. Let's ride along with car 48. Tristan Catania had a great look through this accident. Nope, not the angle we want. There's Tristan Catania. Have a look. Clever moves to drive through that accident. Tristan Catania in car 48 earns his Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
Car 48 squeaks through car 28, now leading this race, but is that race car damaged? Last pitting on lap 94. The drivers can go about 65 laps on one run, so it's still a one-stop race to the finish. Pennell leading Jeremy Brio. Tommy Reynolds sits in third. Lights are out atop the pace car, so we're going to go racing once again. Will that 2-8 survive? He did take a hard lick. Does Jeremy Brio smell blood in the water? Is it going to be a spicy fight for the lead? Tommy Reynolds in third. He hasn't had any taste of the top three until this moment. And the strategic and scrappy Thomas Andrews, last week's winner, in 12th, 1 lap down. Oh, sorry, 3 laps down, pardon me. Going to be trying to get one of those back. Trapped by the caution. Only 6 cars remain on the lead lap. Green flag is out. Into the wall, looking now from the gearbox cam of Cody Pennell. Everybody seems to be okay for the most part. Pennell doesn't seem to be phased by this damage. He's up a quarter of a second on Jeremy Brio. Tommy Reynolds behind the top 2 by 3/10. Tom Sears trying to get around Seth Wansing and go through the 30 of Daniel Roberts for the 4th spot. Donald Ray in 7th. Have a close look on the right side of that 5 car, now getting loose. Doesn't seem to be too much damage on the right side of that car. Seems to be still humming along just fine. Jason Alexander giving up the 9th position to North Carolina's Dustin Painter. The 00 trying to get to the inside of Knoxville's Ryan Pennell in that 12 car. Pennell still fighting hard. He's in 15th right now. Painter gives him a little bit of how you doing, trying to get around him. Maddox has crashed. Daniel Maddox has gone around and jumps to the pits immediately. Let's see what happened to the 10 car. Oh, right into the wall. Right on the inside as well. And Maddox jumps to the pits immediately to avoid any further incidents. Heads up play by him. More Than a Cape asks, 5 cars on the lead lap. Well, it's 4th gen cars and it's 4th gen rules, so it's going to be single file restarts, lucky dogs and wave rounds, not as much as you'd think. Just like the 90s, where you'd end up with about 5 or 6 cars on the lead lap. We've got 75 laps to go from Bristol Motor Speedway. Cody Pennell really putting a lesson on the rest of this field. Not only bringing the nostalgic paint schemes, but the nostalgic dominance from that 28 car. He's got Jeremy Brio trailing him by 0.6 of a second. Daniel Roberts in the 30 has Tommy Reynolds to his outside, and Roberts trying to move further up. Tom Sears has gone around the 14 with a big crash in turn number 4. We stay green for the moment. Sears keeps it moving. The defending Thursday Night Thunder champion now wounded, but still running. Let's go back and see what happened to Tom Sears. And he's already gone around from there. Let's run this one back. Possible contact from Dan Roberts. Have a look. Sears really sending it in. Roberts kind of going high. Let's ride along with Dan Roberts and get a better look at this incident. Have a listen now. Sears just getting up into that wall. Roberts survives to fight along. Tom Sears still in 5th, however. 11 seconds off the leader. Dan Roberts in 4th. Some 4 seconds behind Cody Pennell. He's now got an 0.8 of a second lead over Jeremy Brio inside the final 70 laps of action. And we learned how important tires were. Tom Sears, despite that damage, he's got tires that are 20 laps fresher than the rest of the top 5. Seth Wansing only pitted 9 laps before him. All of the top 4 pitting on lap 95. When is it going to matter, and is it going to affect how Cody Pennell drives this race? He's been dominant from the front, but he's got to finish. Is Brio conserving the good years? There's a lot of strategy still at play. Tommy Reynolds trying to hold off Daniel Roberts. Seth Wansing has gotten around the both of them. Wansing the first car 1 lap down. Tom Sears letting Thomas Andrews go by. The 14 Arcs Supra seems to have more than a knock, but still trying to survive. He's holding down 5th place. Tommy Reynolds is up 16 places from where he started. The number 7 Aramark Chevy doing a fantastic job making the most of what he's got. Dustin Painter getting closer though. That 00 Buckshot Grand Prix looks to the inside of Dan Roberts. That's not for position. Dustin Painter's in 9th. First car 2 laps down, trying to get closer to the leader, get some sort of advantage on the next restart. Donald Ray barely holding off Richie Catania. Tommy Withers now within 1 second of the Texan, and the number 6 Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevy getting closer, but Withers enters in way too high. You saw he had to check up, and Donald Ray now extending that gap by 1.6 seconds over Tommy Withers. Dustin Painter though, far quicker than Withers. His laps 12 tires fresher, and the gap between them starting to close. Tommy Reynolds though, how long can he hold off Daniel Roberts? We're approaching the final 50 laps from Bristol. Ryan Pennell trying to stay out of the way, and does. The 7 car finally scoots away from Roberts, but he goes a bit too high. Daniel Roberts still within half a second. And here comes Donald Ray. Within 3 seconds to Seth Wansing, you saw the 24 of Rich Catania really send it in on car number 5. Will they go 3 wide out of 4? Yes, they will. Rich Catania on the inside there in the middle. Ryan Pennell scrapes along the wall and slows down just a bit. The number 12 Hooters Arcs Mustang staying as competitive as he can. He's comfortably holding down the 15th position. Cody Pennell 2.8 seconds ahead of Jeremy Brio, but is it too hard, too fast? The number 74 Taco Bell Dodge Intrepid. Is he conserving his tires, knowing it's a one-stop race to the finish? And when they do pit, will there be enough fuel? Once again, drivers able to go between 55 and 65 laps on one run. We saw race leader Cody Pennell go approximately 60 laps. He last pitted on lap 94. We're on lap 146, so you can assume he's within 10 laps to that final stop, the money stop. And caution is out. Caution is out right before that pit window. and strategy just got blown wide open. Drivers pitting now will have about 50-some laps to the finish, so there will be some conservation needed. Thomas Andrews enters the pit lane, but was it before the caution came out? Let's have a look. Oh, it's the 18 and the 5. That's Thomas Andrews entering pit lane. It was Donald Ray and Briley Wright who came together. Let's have another look. This is Briley Wright laps before. So there he is. Now we have Briley Wright coming up behind Donald Ray. It just looks like he had a great run. Keep your eye on the hands of the 18 car here. Well, maybe not. Let's try one more look here. And it looks like it was Donald Ray that got into it. There it is. There's the contact. Let's run this one back. Just looked like Riley got such a great run on the inside. Don's trying to hold his line as well. Hands turned a little bit to the right, but the car just wants to turn left. Headed into turn number 3. And there's the contact between both of those pilots. So that brings out the yellow flag. And we're under caution for the 5th time tonight. Seth Wansing being scored as the race leader. He's coming around. Cody Pennell pitting on lap 149, and it looks like everybody's going to take advantage of this break, and so will we. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back for the final 45 laps of racing from virtual Bristol. Don't go anywhere. A quick look at the di9 design points before we go racing once again. Cody Pennell leading, Dan Roberts on track, Jeremy Brio is in 3rd. We have a little more than 45 laps remaining. The pace car peels off. Can Pennell hold off his competitors? Green flag is out. Gone around in front of his cousin. That's Ryan Pennell, who has crashed in that 12 car, still around up the inside wall. No harm, no foul. It's just a one-car incident. Cody Pennell ahead of Daniel Roberts, who's got Tommy Reynolds behind him, really pushing that issue. Reynolds really on it. You just saw him hang that tail out as wide as he could. We're inside the final 45 circuits now. Brio running his fastest lap of the race, 15.12 seconds. Everybody on that last caution down to the top 12 spots pitted under the last yellow. Cody Pennell goes purple to Jeremy Brio's green, 14.99 seconds, and the first driver to achieve a sub 15-second time in this race. It only took him 156 laps. and Brio's beat it, 14.96. Jeremy Brio now goes purple. The second driver, there goes Roberts. Dan Roberts in the 30, head first into that inside wall. He doesn't go purple, he goes bang, and Roberts outside of that podium. Now he's got damage to the front end of his Valvoline Ford Fusion, and that's going to hurt him big time. No yellows for a one-car incident. Cody Pennell leading Jeremy Brio, and these two drivers, the only two competitors tonight to hit a sub 15-second lap time. Brilliant racing. Tommy Reynolds in third. Tom Sears 1.2 seconds off of the podium positions right now. And he's some 2.5 seconds ahead of Seth Wansing. Daniel Roberts in sixth now. After that damage, finds himself 4 seconds behind the pilot of the number 9 DuPont Chevrolet. Donald Ray sitting in the 7th spot right now. The first car 1 lap down, just looking to stay in that position when the yellow comes out. Tommy Withers trying to chase him down. Ryan Pennell may have gone around again, and he jumps to the pits immediately. Let's see what happened to the Knoxville native. There's the first incident there, and it looked like that may actually be the second incident. It just seems like it happened again for Pennell, and bad luck for the hometown pilot, home state pilot, let's say. Tommy Reynolds really all over the back end of Jeremy Brio. Can he hang on though? He's being incredibly aggressive on these tires. There's still more than 35 laps to go. He's hit the wall. You just saw him scrape the wall off of 4. Reynolds hanging out everything, leaving nothing to be desired, trying his hardest to catch to Jeremy Brio, but that might have been a bit too hard for car number 7. Reynolds sending it really deep into one, but he just can't make it stick. 1/4 of a second separates second and third. Cody Pennell up 1.5 seconds on those two. Jason Alexander still making hay while the moon shines down on Bristol. The driver of the number 53, Coors Chevy, catching up to John Honeybrink in the 2-0 Home Depot Pontiac. 30 laps to go. This is the battle for 13th. Quick work for Jason Alexander. He gets around John Honeybrink for the 13th position. Alexander now chasing down Tom Andrews. They are 8 seconds apart. Seth Wansing to the inside of the number 2 MGD Ford. Wansing sits in 5th. He's only 0.8 behind Tom Sears over the last 5 laps. Wansing has been quicker than Sears, and he's cutting down that time. I wonder if Sears is still suffering from the damage to the 14 he got on the caution before last. That last time around, Sears a bit quicker, but Wansing really closing the gap in now. Let's ride along with the Missouri native. Wansing getting around Sears for the 4th position. Tommy Reynolds finally gets around Jeremy Brio for that 2nd position. 175 laps underway and fewer than 25 to go. That puts Tommy Reynolds up 17 places from where he started this race. Let's have a look and see how we got around the Taco Bell Dodge. On the outside, mind you, it looks like Brio just not comfortable on that inside line or just giving up the spot to Reynolds. Either way, that's going to put the 7 Chevy in the second spot. 2.4 seconds now the gap between Cody Pennell and Tommy Reynolds. Will the lap times start to tumble? Let's take a look at car number 7 and see what it is. Over the last 2 laps, Cody Pennell looks like he's stuck in lap traffic his third time around. Reynolds quicker by more than 1/10, 21 laps to go this time by. Cody Pennell across the line with a 16.48. Tommy Reynolds quicker by half a second. Is Reynolds reeling in Pennell? Fewer than 2 seconds is what remains between Pennell and Reynolds. This time, the 2.8 car with a 16.122. Reynolds slower that time by 0.2 of a second, so it looks like that the lap cars are indeed the Achilles heel for Cody Pennell. One more time around, Pennell puts in a 15.97 and 0.3 quicker than Tommy Reynolds. Reynolds now with Dustin Painter to his inside. Daniel Maddox in the chat asking, do I get bonus points for gaining the most spots for sticking around? You know what? Maybe. I don't know, but maybe. And Tommy Reynolds getting into the wall there, just trying to stay on the outside of Jeremy Brio. Brio's caught him back up. This is the battle for second spot with 17 laps to go. Brio making light work of Tommy Reynolds. Can he make it stick out of the second corner? He does indeed make it stick out of turn number 2. Tom Sears in the 14 car. He's 1 second behind Dan Roberts in the 30. Tommy Withers on the outside of Dustin Painter. This is a battle that we saw coming about 15 laps ago, and now it's time to fight for 8th. Dustin Painter in the 00 Aqua Fresh Pontiac trying to hold on to that 8th spot. He's got Riley Wright just on top of him. Withers chasing him in the number 6 Kellogg's Chevy. Painter easily getting around the lap traffic and starting to run away from Tommy Withers now. Seth Wansing ahead of Daniel Roberts by 0.2 of a second. That 3-0 car caught a big hit, and you can still see the damage. He's feeling it on the front of that 3-0 Valvoline Ford, and now to the inside of that DuPont Impala. Makes light work of Seth Wansing. Wansing down to 5th. Roberts up to the 4th spot. He's 4.2 seconds behind Tommy Reynolds. Jeremy Brio 0.4 ahead. And Cody Pennell opening this lead to near 5 seconds with 11 laps remaining. It's been an unbelievable job for him. Riley Wright still fighting hard despite the wounded Camry that you can't really tell is a Camry anymore. He's sitting up in the 15th spot. He just got around Ryan Pennell, and he's gaining points every lap he turns. We love a fighting spirit. Riley Wright doing a great job for himself. Cody Pennell doing a brilliant job. 1-0 to go and 9 at the line. The Good Hope Georgian dominating this race, and he just has to stay smooth for another 9 circuits. He'll be in victory lane. Jeremy Brio, a tougher job for him. He's trying to hold off Tommy Reynolds, who's there by just 0.2 of a second. Unfortunately, it won't be 2 wins in a row for Thomas Andrews, but he's still running in that 12th spot right there. Rich Catania rounding out the top 10 in that number 24 DuPont Chevrolet. John Honeybrink, he got in a scrap earlier tonight. He's sitting in 14th. He'll score a top 15 finish. Not a bad run despite the trouble he's gotten into. Let's see how he holds off Cody Pennell. Well, if he will hold off Cody Pennell. Honeybrink does find himself some 7 laps down, and he does the right thing and let Cody Pennell go around. Jeremy Brio, on the other hand, with Tristan Catania right in front of him, and Tommy Reynolds in tow by some inches, trying to save second. Reynolds to the inside of the Taco Bell Dodge. Brio trying to hold him off. Reynolds has the advantage. They're coming to 4 laps to go. Reynolds to the inside. Sparks up from the wall. Catania trying to stay off. Reynolds has the advantage now. Is the 74 trapped? Will he try a crossover on the 7 car? Brio, 3 to go this time by. Does he have anything left in the tank? Did he use all those tires up defending his spot from Tommy Reynolds? What a great drive it's been for Reynolds, up 17 places from where he started, now running away from Jeremy Brio. Half a second is all that sits between them. Cody Pennell, 8 seconds ahead of Tommy Reynolds. Reynolds 8/10 ahead of Jeremy Brio. But this man here, missing the season opener last week at Rockingham, coming this week and saying this championship is going to be blown wide open. White flag is out, another half mile remains for Good Hope, Georgia's Cody Pennell, leading the most laps tonight, putting in the 2nd fastest lap of the evening, and he's going to come away with a win. Cody Pennell wins round 2 at Bristol. Count him off, 8 seconds, and Tommy Reynolds grabs 2nd place by 1.3 seconds over Jeremy Brio. Dan Maddox coming home in the 4th position. Seth Wansing bringing home the DuPont Chevy into 5th. Thomas Andrews a bit unhappy with Wansing, and Cody Pennell bringing home the W. Great job for Pennell. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to have podium interviews in just a few moments. Cody Pennell, Tommy Reynolds, and Jeremy Brio are going to join us. Bit of a Polish victory lap burnout for that 2-8 car, doing it in style. Don't go anywhere, fans. Podium interviews in just a moment. On the podium with our top 3, starting with the driver of the number 74 Chevy Dodge Hybrid. Jeremy Brio comes home with a bronze medal. Great battle at the end there with Tommy Reynolds for 2nd place there, Jeremy.
Yeah, it was a fun one. That's probably like one of the most fun races I've had in an ARCA car in a while. So that was a lot of fun. Congratulations to Cody. He dominated, so there was no way I was gonna get him unless we had like a last lap restart or 2 to go restart. But other than that, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, that's all I can really say is it was a lot of fun, and team sideswipe top 3 is pretty cool too.
Yeah, it was fun. The tire wear played a huge factor, and I that's what I like about these cars. And the high side is really fun, passing everybody, and yeah, congrats to Cody on the win.
Next week, we're going to Darlington Raceway. What have you got predicted for that third round?
Probably another second place to one of these two.
Good, humble answer. Congratulations on that second place finish.
Thank you.
Our race-winning interview brought to you by the good folks over at di9 Designs, the Chase Elliott custom graphic design page on Twitter, Facebook, and Insta at di9 Designs. They post graphics on all platforms multiple times a week and take requests on all types of logos, Chase Elliott wallpapers, iRacing schemes, and more. Follow and DM them for more details. They are not affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott. Be sure to use code di9 Designs for free shipping on your diecast and merch orders over $20 on CircleBDiecast.com. And now the winner. Driver of that thrilling 2.8 Haviland Ford Thunderbird, Cody Pennell. First race, first win.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to run with these guys. You know, I knew that the guys running the Thursday Night Thunder were a really good group of guys, and I had seen the first one race at Rockingham. I wasn't able to run it, but I'm just thankful I was able to run this one and kind of keep it. There were a few tense moments in the race with lap traffic and wrecks in front, but thankfully kept it in one piece and brought home the win and sideswiped top 3. So really proud of that.
You jump into the top 20 in points immediately. Thomas Andrews' lead is shrunk down to 1 digit over Dustin Painter, and Tom Sears finds himself 3 points behind the top 2. Going into Darlington, I should say. Can we go 2 wins in a row?
I hope so. Darlington's one of my favorite tracks on the sim altogether. We had a Halloween race in these cars there back in October, and I won that race. Jeremy was right there on me at the finish. That was a really good race. So hopefully I can put together another strong run there and maybe close in on the points lead a little bit more.
We'll see you in 7 days' time. Congratulations on the win, Cody.
All right. Thank you, Rick.
Fans at home, that does it for another round of Thursday Night Thunder racing. Cody Pennell comes away with the win in dominant style. 7 days from now, we go to the Lady in Black. These Gen 4 cars are going to run some throwbacks like you've never seen before. Monday night, we continue with the final 3 rounds of B-Water. Tuesday night, it's round 2 of Turn Down for What? And until that next race on Thursday, fans, please do stay safe, take care of each other, and we will see you all around the corner.